Hello and welcome to the Go Mode Podcast Tournament 2022. This is round 5. I am Blackwax. With me is my co-host, Furious Prince. How you doing today, Furious?
I'm doing all right. How about you?
Doing pretty good. Today's race is between Pichu10u and Galdaran.
Yeah, it's gonna be an interesting race. Both these runners at 2-2. Really welcome. Just really waiting to see how these two runners are going to perform today.
Yeah, when you're sitting at 500, it's really nice to play somebody else that's also sitting at 500 because then you get a better idea of where you're standing.
Both of our runners also still with their mentors for this week. Pichu being mentored by Falcon, as well as Galdaran being mentored by Koval.
All right, and we should be getting started here just in like a minute or two. Oh, actually, just here in a few seconds. Yeah. There's the timers going down. All right, Furious, do you want to talk about the settings for today's race?
Absolutely. Today's settings for week 5 are open randomized weapons. So both of them are going to have the choice to either start at Link's house or Sanctuary, and looks like both of them are starting at Link's house. Not a bad decision. An Uncle Start is more of a personal choice going into the start of a race, so not a bad call on either one of the runners' plates.
Yeah, it's a pretty standard play to try to find bombs early, or some sort of weapon. Berries out of the tree pool.
That's a
That's
wonderful
not
tier 1.
really. It's not useful early, but late game that could be something that somebody remembers.
Also, getting out of Link's house a bottle with a fairy in it, so they at least know that there's going to be a lot of health going into this.
Yeah. So the bottle makes it pretty appealing to just go straight to CAC after this, after they don't get any bombs here, and that is a mushroom. So fetch quests early on.
Yeah, Uncle with just a little piece of heart just before passing away, but at least he gave him a mushroom to eat too. Powder also not a bad find here in Sanctuary, giving them, the option to not just fake powder, but also give them the real powder if they find the hammer there in Kakariko.
And 3 fetch quests. Okay. It's good to get those things out of the way early though, because now they don't have to like try to figure out how to route it in later.
Absolutely.
Alright. And Galdaran forgetting to kill multiple things to try to increase the tier of the tree pull.
Both of our runners giving us lumberjack check.
It is just a red rupee.
So Aga is not, might not be still required for us today.
I mean, the tree definitely not, but we could still need it for Dark World access, or even worse, to get the hammer. Although, with the mentors, there's definitely going to be ways around doing Aga for a hammer.
Neither one of our runners deciding to pick up Pichu deciding not to pick up, there we go. Galdaran deciding to pick up the Bloopy there in Kakariko Forest, and Pichu selecting to get the 50 on the drop down, just make sure they're having a little bit of money before going into Kakariko.
Yeah, Pichu being just a little bit on the aggressive side, which is fine. The save and quit out of the forest, now going to the dam. Very decided in what they're doing. Oh, they're not going to the dam actually, they're going to do the mushroom.
Galdaran's still checking out to see if he can get another tier pull on the tree. Still only killing one thing at a time to get more fairies.
So what Galdaran's doing right now is a little bit risky. Because he's... Oh, actually, he's just gonna go straight to buy bombs. Never mind. I thought he was gonna YOLO Blind's Hut and oh, and look, more rupees.
Getting rewarded for it, also now getting the chance to check, well, possibly bottle vendor. Sick Kid's not a bad start either, now that he has that bottle from Link's house. And more rupees.
More rupees. Now he can buy the bombs and check bottle vendor, and this works out just fine. See, I thought he was just gonna go straight to Blind's Hut or the dam, and if you YOLO that and don't find bombs, there's a pretty costly back and forth. What?
Pichu only finding the red boomerang there in the mushroom turn-in.
That was gonna be my question. I saw them do it, and then I didn't pay attention to what was there.
Nice find in the back of the chicken hut with the power glove there.
Yeah, that does quite a bit early, because especially now that they're going north through Kakariko, they could just decide to do the last two checks with the mirror, or just do them later, and go sequence break the mountain.
Pichu showing us that our sun prize for today is just arrows on the guards. Also finding a bomb on the 50-50 bush pole just outside of the dig spot.
And see what was on the ledge, and they're going for it. So
I missed it also as well.
must have been something they wanted.
Not much in the well, from what I saw.
Wonder if it's bombs. No, it's the book.
Ooh, that's a great pickup early.
The only fetch quest they're missing at this point is the shovel.
Oh my goodness, Kakariko is loaded on rupees and a flute and moon pearl.
Flute actually puts the mountain in logic, although without the mirror, the lamp, or a hook shot, it's only really one check. So
Galdaran remembering that he blew up the wall but forgot to check the chest. And there's the
sword.
Being rewarded for it by going back down the stairs.
It's a good thing you remembered that. It'd suck if that's required for progression.
Pichu's still having that interesting play of coming up to Kakariko from the south side instead of dropping in from the Lost Forest. But she did get the red meringue out of it, so she wasn't entirely disappointed with it.
Yeah, so I would assume this is some coaching from the mentor, because it's not as common to come from the south. But what you do is you come from Link's house and you check the 50-50 bushes on the way there, and you pick up your bombs, and it's a less common route, but it's something that's still done from time to time. And also in situations where you don't really seem to have a lot of money, you don't know that you're getting 100 rupees in Kakariko, so you go through the south part to ensure that you get bombs.
Galdaran about ready to pick up his book.
Right, and what's next after this? See, they've got the flute, so they'll probably just flute to the dam. and do mini Moldworm into Ice Rod Cave.
Yeah, without isolating their check without being able to really possibly go do Zora, domain of full without having a fake flipper, going to check Mushroom just by themselves right now is probably not the best play for Galdaran to do. But they would get rewarded with the red meringue, so I mean that's just depending on what the mentor's routing is. Instead of deciding to do back of escape.
That's actually a really good play because it gave you the glove. So you're looking for the logic train that you're trying to follow right now. And hey, look, flippers. There you go.
So
That's
yeah,
the correct logic train.
would not be surprised if they decide to go check Mushroom to Waterfall Fairy to Zora, and then go do South Shore.
Well, and they also have the sword, so they might just do escape. Nope. Yep, I think you're right. Mushroom to South Shore.
Doing escapes not uncommon there. It just all depends on the runner's comfortability with dark rooms, and I haven't watched enough Galdaran races to know what they're comfortable with just yet.
Well, you also have to take into consideration that if you save escape for last, at least the front side of it, then if it turns out to be an Agassiz, then you can do escape. You go walk through that door at the top of the stairs, do escape, death warp out of the back, and then just go straight to Aga.
Surprised Galdaran is doing it the way that he's doing it, instead of Mushroom into Zora's domain and then just taking the warp over to South Shore.
Oh, and there were bombs in the dam, so that's always good. So, I mean, they have the book, so it's not completely orphaned, but they have kind of pushed Agina off to the side by doing this route.
Neither one of our runners have given us a map check yet either, so we have no idea if desert's even required yet.
True. They can't finish it without a fire source, so there's kind of like two ways to think about a map check as well, is that you don't need to do one until you have the ability to go finish a dungeon, or you just do it right away to see what it is, get your information.
Ooh,
Oh no!
Galdaran's taking a unfortunate death, but that fairy in the bottle is going to save them as well. Being able to flute over to 8, it wouldn't have been that much of a time loss.
Well, yeah, that's true. They can't just flip to 8. But it's still frustrating to die that way. Although, the fairy... I totally forgot that they had a fairy in a bottle.
Galdaran not taking any chances now, going right back to swinging at the crabs. That is that is a
very
nice
good
play.
quality of life find.
Yeah, so far South Shore was being really dry, and then that was probably their best pickup so far.
Yep. And fluting to 8, that makes sense.
Both of our runners staying really close together. This is definitely a good, nice race, telling you that they've learned a lot from their mentors over the last 5 weeks, and even in their own voice calls now.
Yeah. And, I mean, you could kind of say that Galdaran has a little bit of a lead, but I mean, when you consider the game as a whole, being a screen and a half ahead is nothing. There was just a single arrow on the island. And arrows from the bum. And Pichu just looting back to 8. I'm not going to take the time to swim. And Galdaran exploiting the fact that he used his fairy and throwing it into the fairy fountain. Nothing in the chest there, though.
At this point, if you're running, you have to start wondering, where are all of my progression items?
That was a red crystal at Hera. There was a map check by Galdaran. And then desert was a pendant.
Okay, so yeah, we might still see a really long check, well, a really long time before we head over that way to see Desert Ledge and Agina.
Yeah, I mean, they would probably end up going to Sahasrarla's hut first. You might see somebody flute over just to check the ledge, and if it's nothing, they could flute away.
Meanwhile, the big fish giving us just a really expensive Fisher Price shield that we could have gotten cheaper over in Kakariko.
Yeah, that is true.
Galdaran's, both of our runners still deciding to make the desert play.
Well, I mean, it gave you the book, and without the mirror, it's kind of the only thing that the book can do.
I was in agreement with you. I really thought they were going to head over to Sahasrarla's hut and then Eastern before making our play over to desert. Because you still might be boots locked here as well.
Yeah, but Eastern's a crystal, so you don't really want to be double dipping crystals, and you can't full clear this. You can't get to the boss, so you're only doing the front of this. This might only be one check, and then you just leave. Swear to God, if there's a lamp in the big chest.
You'll definitely see a play up to the mountain as well as
No, it's
getting
a
the old
small
man.
key in the big chest. So it does look like both runners are probably going to be saving Escape for last. So that if it's a Agaseed, Galdaran on a half a heart, by the way. So if it's an Agaseed, they can just Death Warp back. Oh.
Oh, and the Master Sword.
That's a bad sign. I think it's an Agaseed. And he is Death Warping. Understandable. You get your health back and then you can just move to 5. Oh. Oh, he's gonna go out this other door so that he can do Agina.
Not a bad decision at all. At least in Galdaran's mind. Pichu also already checking Agina. Unfortunately, we know it's just a piece of heart.
I would expect. So with the Master Sword, that and in the Moon Pearl, that fully puts Aga in logic. I would expect that if there's nothing in Sahasrarla's hut, they would just go straight to back of escape and not dip eastern.
Well, it's not fully in logic just yet. They're still missing a lamp to be able to complete Aggo.
Well, actually, you're right.
Pichu deciding to actually do escape first. I think she saw the Master Sword and decided that was the play to begin with. Meanwhile, our first route of divergence, Galdaran deciding to go over and do Sahasrarla's hut and Eastern.
Walking there, an interesting choice when he has the flute.
And
Bombo.
Bombos.
It's one fire source, although it does not help out with torches or light. And Galdaran deciding to actually dip eastern.
Pichu also finding that small key there in the compass chest lets us know that if she is comfortable going back doing dark cross, she can also still go get that item as well.
Yeah, and she's setting up a death warp too. Fun fact about this guard: all the swords do one category less on it. So
Oh, I didn't know that.
yeah, so if you use a master sword on that, it's still doing. She forgot about the fairy. If you use a master sword on it, it's still doing fighter sword damage.
There's nothing more heartbreaking than doing an intentional death just to find out that you had a fairy in the bottle.
Yeah, and I mean, it was literally the first thing they got, so it's been a while. And they are in fact going into the back of Eastern, or the back of Escape, to get the Dark Cross item. And Galdaran finding Dark World access in Eastern Palace. Both of them are going to be in dark rooms here in a second. Oh, never mind. Pichu gave that one up. Alright, is this advanced logic or basic logic?
I believe all of the seeds for this week are, well, I think for all the entire tournament are all advanced logic on item placement.
Okay, so then it's worth noting that Eastern is strictly lamp lock because the big key's in the back.
Yeah, so even if they were comfortable doing that back dark room, it just wouldn't be in logic. Pichu now picking up her bombos.
And Pichu on the way to find their Dark World access.
Galdaran following that right over to Village of Outcasts with his Titan Smiths.
He's got a couple choices with that. He could also have gone to the Meyer area, check the shed, see what the medallion is there. But that's only 2 checks, and then a dungeon that you can't complete. I guess that more depends on how important you feel like that information is. Because you don't have the mirror, so you have to save and quit out of there. Galdaran pulling out bombos for the Skullwoods. These mummies did not want to cooperate.
Not a bad decision. Knowing that you have half magic, just makes it a little bit easier.
Yeah.
And Pichu picking up her Titan Smiths.
You know, I'm conflicted on the Skullwoods check. Although it makes a lot more sense because you don't have hammer.
Absolutely. Right now would be one of the times where it's just classified as an overroll check.
And with no keys, I think that's technically fire rod lock now.
Oh no, Galdaran falling into the left side pit.
No, that's the correct pit.
Oh, I forgot that he didn't have a small key yet to go check. But still taking a death, unfortunately, from the fall.
Yeah. Yeah, so with no key in either of those first 2 chests in Skullwoods, I'm pretty sure that fire rod locks the rest of it. Because you can waste the key in the pot on the door that's right next to it. And then the other key has to be behind the fire rod. That is a harsh death to take when you're that close to opening that chest.
Thankfully, still having a key that they can just hop back over and still get out.
Yeah. Well, they also have the big keys, so once they get over, then they need to, I guess they could do it the vanilla way, but they'll probably bomb jump across.
That was a quick map check by Pichu. What I did see, though, was Skullwoods was a crystal as well as Thievestown. I just didn't catch anything else on it.
I didn't even see the map check. I heard the noise and I looked over, and she was back in the overworld.
Yeah, it was an incredibly quick one. There we go. A pendant on pod and a pendant on ice, with our other 5/6 being there on Meyer.
Yeah, that was a much more readable map check.
gonna respond to Bread here in chat. Pendant Pod Hammer is in there. I have had that seed so far this Mentor tournament, and it is not fun. French vanilla hammer in pod, you just do not want to see it on when it's a pendant.
Yeah, a French vanilla hammer is pretty gross because that technically, well, no, because they can swim across. Never mind, they got the flippers. I was gonna say that's an Agassi, but that's not the location I was thinking of. If you don't have the flippers, then anything across the river is blocked by Aga. And a tempered sword. That is a good find because now every single boss is gonna be easy.
Yeah, not bad for 100 rupees. Pichu deciding whether or not she wanted a bomb jump or drop down to the back, deciding to go back for the bomb jump. And the okay.
That's a magic mirror.
See, I missed it when Galdaran picked it up. I just knew that he had bomb jumped over to grab it.
Yeah, I didn't see it either. So that opens up Tower of Hera as well as a number of checks just across the path that you're going on already. And it opens the first chest in Swamp.
Now, because we're all average, Twitch viewers, is there anything particular that you're hoping is on pedestal for this scene?
What would be a good item to put on pedestal?
I'm hoping Ice Rod.
Well, they already have Bomba, so it could be Fire Rod. That is actually worse than Ice Rod.
Both required items and Fire Rod needed for 2 of them. Oh, that would be absolutely evil. Pichu's still playing a little bit of catch up on Galdaran, but it still has not been that far off of a race. Still just a couple of screens.
Yeah, they're really not that far apart.
Pichu deciding to not opt in for the rest of Thieves Town. Just instead deciding to go to Dig Game before heading back to the Smith chain, I'm assuming.
That is a good point by chat. Because they went into Skullwoods first and found the mirror, they could have just mirrored and gone to the Meyer area and checked all that out, and then fluted back to 3 and just reset their route where they left off.
I'm assuming in their head it might just have been item density. Those 3 items versus the rest of Village of Outcast, and then routes like Graveyard Ledge and Smith Chain.
Yeah, I mean, this is a lot of density here, so I understand doing it this way. But there's like at least 5 different ways you could route this out.
Galdaran doing it in just the nick of time with 1 heart left. Only being rewarded with $20.
I believe that is our first crystal.
It is.
At 34 minutes in.
Still slightly odd routing with Pichu deciding to do Smith Chain first. I'm assuming she might want to head back in there with a hammer to just full clear it at the same time.
Yeah, leaving Thieves Town behind if you don't have the hammer is pretty common. For like more thorough people, they don't want to go somewhere that they can't full clear. Which is probably why they went and did Back Escape before they went in and did Eastern. Early on, like I said, Pichu was being a little bit aggressive with their checks, which is fine. But now that there's just a lot of them staring them in the face, they seem to be doing it more thoroughly, and Galdaran's been a little bit more aggressive. So this is an interesting spot to be in right here, because you have access to the first chest in Swamp, and not the rest of Swamp, assuming nothing's in Hype Cave. Question is, do you check it now or do you orphan it? And I see a lot of people orphan this, but in reality, you're not going to be able to get back here anytime soon if you don't have the hammer.
Nice find of Samaria inside of the NPC of Hype Cave.
That is honestly one of my favorite things to find. And that is a lamp too, so that puts a lot of different things in logic.
Yeah, that still might steer her away from both the first check of Swamp, but also the rest of Thieves Town. Finally deciding to let the purple chest go, with only a half a heart left.
And they can just use the invisible friend glitch to get up here and just mirror.
We'll also be able to check the Bombos tablet now that she has the mirror as well.
Yeah, and that would make sense if that's what the sword's pointing toward. That has led to nothing. And they are fluting away. They're not going into Swamp. They're checking the Meyer area.
Not a bad decision at all.
I mean, it's one chest, and it's kind of like, you know, a whole minute to get to it, so it makes sense. Ooh.
Ooh. Unfortunately taking a
no
death.
ferry this time to save them. That's not that bad, because they just flew back to the portal.
Pichu showing her frustration with some angry slashes. Galdaran following in the same steps that Pichu did of taking the purple chest over to Hyde Cave before taking it to Gary for his lunch.
Yeah, I mean it makes sense. You're gonna have to go down there anyways, and then back up, and it's a wash either way. So.
And Ether is our medallion for Meyer.
Huh. Interesting. Do they do pendant? Is there an item on Lamos? I don't remember if they found the second item or not.
Map was on Torch. Compass was in the back of right side.
Yeah.
And we found Master Sword in the first chest over there. So yeah, there should still be an item on Landmo.
Okay. Okay. I guess that begs the question: do they check the boss there? And it looks like no.
With so many checks, it wouldn't surprise me. She might have also didn't even think the fact that now she has a fire source to do Landmo.
Yeah. True. Although she did think to use the lamp to go check the old man. So.
Not a bad play. Also having the mirror, being able to go do hair at the same time. I'm betting she wishes she had hookshot to still be able to go and do Harapot, but...
And there it is. The last fetch quest item. Boy, that's an annoying spot.
asks you to save him from a cave, and then asks you to do some meaningful labor.
Yeah. And I do not expect them to pick up that shield.
Personally, I like the fire shield, especially when you're trying to set up something like Spooky down there in Misery Mire. But I also don't expect them to pick it up either, especially with the way that both these runners have just been very aggressive.
Yeah.
Galdaran also floating away from desert.
Yeah. I have to say, is the Galdaron's been getting more and more aggressive as they play, as where Pichu's been very decisive, but choosy about what they want to skip.
I won't be surprised if both of these runners forgot that Landmo 1 has an item, but also just remembers that it's just a pendant.
And Pichu accidentally mirroring there instead of switching to the boomerang. That is a very good point from our Restreamer there, Bread-kun, that a lot of pods now in logic with the lamp, assuming that it's not bow locked.
The way they set up that question, I thought it was going to turn into a regular show reference of my mom. Glad to see that they just gave us a straight-on answer.
Also, since I mentioned our tracker, or I mean our Restreamer, Bread-kun, I'd also like to give a shout out to our tracker, boothisman. They're doing a pretty good job. All right, and Pichu going for their first crystal. Oh, Moldworm. Please stop doing that.
Could have been so much worse.
I've had that happen to me like 3 or 4 times in a row before. It's annoying. And that is Pichu's first crystal at 44 minutes.
Now it's going to be interesting to see where they go from here, knowing they can't do any of East Mountain just yet.
Um,
I personally
like they're
expect
going
them
to
to
the
head.
basement.
I personally also expect them to possibly head over back to Thieves Town and then do North Dark World, just to head over to Pod.
Yeah, I gotta say that I'm not a big fan of them fluting away at the tablet, because now in order to get back to Pod, they have to go back through a portal that's on the opposite side of the map and walk all the way there.
Yeah.
But they both did it, which kind of blows my mind. Alright, and Galdaran taking his turn with Moldworm.
Deciding to go for slashes instead of temper sword spins.
Yeah, I
Interesting
was
choice.
noticing that too.
Pichu deciding to follow the shovel.
Yeah, I mean, it's a one-off check. It's not far out of the way. And it's nothing important. But this game has also just been throwing fetch quests at our runners.
Shame on that old man for hiding some explosives, expecting a little child to go find those.
Maybe he just thought they were fireworks. I mean, the 4th of July is right around the corner.
That's a fair point. Galdaran looking to have forgotten that they have Samaria, instead choosing to do the bomb strat to hit that switch again for the coffee break.
Yeah, Samaria is a lot, I guess, easier. Some people just use the strat that they already know.
Just to respond to Bread-kun, it's looking like his call at the start about Hammer being independent pod is coming true. That would not be a great look.
Still be in a worse place.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I mean, it could be pretty far in logic. We do have Bombos. It could be an Ice Palace. It could be even worse. It could be in the first chest swamp. It could be in Mire behind Pod.
If it's in Ice Palace, that'll just be heartbreaking, knowing that they could do Icebreaker, but they can't get much further than that. They'd have to isolate that one check there on the right side.
It could also be in Aga it could be Agalocked in Fat Fairy.
True.
There's a few bad places this hammer could still be. I mean, it could also just be on Catfish, which would be relatively not that bad, because then you just go back through the Dark Portal and you lump it in with Graveyard Ledge, and then you hit up Catfish afterward, and then you can just flute Pod.
Hear me out. hammer in bonk rocks with boots in pendant pod.
I do not wish that on either of these runners. That just sounds rough.
Both runners still retrekking back the other's location, so we are getting a little bit of divergence, but not seeing anything new at just the moment.
Right. So we know that they're not going to find anything groundbreaking at this point. Yeah, I mean, it could also just be on Lamolus. So I guess if it is in Fat Fairy. Actually, what are the red crystals?
Meyer and Hera was the other one.
It could be in Fat Fairy. That's pretty bad. We would just need ether for that to be in logic. But they have the boot, or they have the flippers, and they have the mirror, so they could do a bomb dupe. Get around it.
They would still need either hookshot or boots to still get in the mire, even if they found ether.
Well, yeah, that's true. But you're banking on boots being in a. Ooh, and the mirror check to get the
Not a bad decision
the
at all.
magic bat done. No, not really. I mean, they're already there, so you may as well. You're banking on boots being in pod anyway, so.
Yeah. Or it could be right there.
Just for the record, they could have got that on the way the first time, but then they would have lost it. It's understandable they didn't, because you lose your portal if it's not the hammer. Holding off on Thieves Town pays off for Pichu quite a bit, because now all of a sudden, all of EDM, DDM is in logic except for Hookshot Cave.
To answer you, Gamma, about where was powder, it was just really early on in the seed. They got it pretty much right after Mushroom.
Bottle Fender, I believe? No.
It might have been Sanctuary.
It was Sanctuary. Like, they got all 3 fetch quests in the first. They got, well, not all 3, but they got a bottle, a book, and the powder and the mushroom in like the first 5 minutes.
And then, of course, Mitts were in in Eastern, so they really could have gotten that just before doing Thieves Town or Skull Woods on their first go around.
Yeah, it's understandable that they don't, because if that's not exactly the hammer, then they lose that portal. But
good route divergence, now showing us both new things on both sides. Galdaran showing us Graveyard Ledge, while Pichu is deciding to go do Dark Death Mountain first with the TR check as well for the medallion.
wait,
and all medallions are required. Well, maybe, because Bombos might still not be needed to get into Ice Palace.
I mean, let's be honest. You've got logical access to go clear out Ice Palace. It's probably just going to be on the green pendant. Rule of Fire. Oh, there's the hook shot. That puts Swamp fully in logic.
Yeah. It also now means that the required play was actually do the powder check that way. Because that's the only other way they could have gotten east of the mountain.
Yep.
Good find to have the hookshot there in Super Bunny Cave just before Hookshot Cave.
Also, good call to go back to the mountain, because when you find that hammer, there's a few other things you can do, and that's the bow. The mountain is loaded. Holy crap! There's the boots,
Oh my god!
fire rod, and medallion go mode right now.
Well, both rods. They still need it for TR.
Oh yeah, both rods. Doing a little bit of a mirror bonk there. Galdaran just on the wrong path right now.
I would honestly say that the tables have turned and Pichu currently has the advantage in this seed. Both runners are making quite good choices. Galdaran's not making any of the wrong choices either. He's just not there just yet. He's just deciding to be thorough with it all.
And
Blue mail.
Blue Pichu over here.
Just to respond to Mr. Aronson, yes, hammer literally does lead to everything.
Yeah, they literally just lock, I don't know what, 4 items on the mountain already.
Almost all of them required. Boots, bow, hookshot. Blue mail was on there.
It was a lot. And there's Ether. Now they can go do Meyer. I would actually expect them to go straight to Meyer at this point.
Yeah, Berna as well. Yeah,
Ooh, maybe Spike Cave first. Now that they have Berna.
that decision to do the powder, just bypassing the hammer requirement, just was the answer. And it might be a while before Galdaran remembers that they can do that.
Yeah, that is. Oh, that's just mean.
Well, they're in the same area, just completely different reasons.
Alright, so Pichu needs Quake, Fire Rod, and Ice Rod for go mode. And Galdaran needs the hammer to get basically anything.
I'm right, you are right. That also does mean you have to dip Skullwoods without a fire rod to get the mirror.
Yeah, it actually does. Wow. You
This
have
was
to
a
dip
very
Eastern Palace without the bow, and you have to dip Skullwoods without the fire rod, and you have to.
This has just been an amazing seed to watch. To be sub-hour, it was a very dry seed to start off with, and now it's just become, oh, well, here's everything you've been looking for. Yes, Galdaran has done all of Smith Chain. The only thing he has not done is the powder check, which I'm hoping he's about ready to go do now.
I think it's the only thing he has left. Like, I think this is his last location.
He could still go into Pendant Ice Palace.
Well, yeah, that's true, actually. Oh, but it looks like he's going for it. Yep, there he goes. So my question is he going to take his portal back and then do hammer pegs? Because Pichu skipped out on that.
I think the only reason that would be a bad call is if you find one of the rods there. Or silvers.
If one of the rods is there, that just ties this game right back up.
Yeah, because it will be a long time before Pichu goes back there.
There's the. They're skipping it too. Also, trying to powder an anti-fairy that you're not used to powdering is difficult.
Oh, right
Ooh.
before the door.
Yikes. That.
To also say to the chat, the other options were yes, pod. They also still could have done land molus for that item that they know that's on him. They still, well, Galdaran could not go do swamp, but in his mind, the first check of swamp was still in logic.
First check of swamp was available, all pod was available. I guess the fire rock could still be in pod, huh? They had the bow.
That would be so mean if it's on green pendant turn-in.
I mean, I don't mean to like curse a seed or anything, but I already said that a fire rod might be on green pendant turn-in. Pichu finally getting to that chest and going straight down to go check the cutscene chest.
Yeah, I'm personally a fan of the cutscene check. I know a lot of people don't like it because they say it takes too long, but it just doesn't sound like a bad play to me.
I mean, I usually check it, but I don't like it. It's literally just 45 seconds standing in the same place doing nothing. And Galdaran up on the mountain, about to find. Oh, he hasn't gone to the Dark World yet. And I think that's actually where everything was in DER.
Yeah, Hookshot was in Super Bunny. Bo and Boots were both in Hookshot Cave. Ether, I'm forgetting where it was. I believe it was here in the top of Paradox.
Bo was in Hookshot Cave too.
Yeah.
Oh, there's the cane. That was. Oh, and there's Ether. That's the other item that I was thinking of that was required. Yeah, Pichu has a substantial lead at this point.
This was also a really smart decision to go and do Meyer first, knowing that it is your 5/6. That you can just check Pyramid Fairy of it if you need to if you're gonna make your way over to Pod or something.
Yeah, so you do this, you get your 5/6 crystal, you go do swamp into Big Bomb, and then you can just walk right over Pod. Like this, I 100% agree with doing this first, because then it saves you a back and forth with the Big Bomb.
To our tracker in chat, I don't remember if there was another item in Thieves Town, after the rupee on blind.
That check doesn't exist. Yeah, let's just go with that. Because that would be the worst.
Into bread, yeah, you can route those in. We unfortunately also know that ledge and catfish are both dead.
Um, I would venture a guess to say there's not an item in there because Galdaran, who just got his bow and his boots, by the way, when he went back, he just walked right past it and was willing to sacrifice his portal to get that that magic bat check.
That doesn't exist either.
Yeah, I think them leaving hammer pegs behind was kind of a mistake. Although Galdaran doing the check that I really thought Pichu was going to do before.
It was a very nice Vitreous fight as well. We just didn't make comment of it, but that was a really nice Vitreous fight using the Cannon Burner there.
Cannon Burner with the dashes. Exploiting
And
your half magic is, yeah, it's a pretty good way to fight.
Red Mail in Spike Cave, so I don't think that'll fully bite Pichu later, but it could.
But Pichu has died a couple times with the blue.
Yeah.
Yeah. See, this is what we were talking about, is now they can just cleanly route in 2 more crystals and some more overworld that they didn't get to. By doing Ether first and then Swamp after. Or I mean Mire first and then Swamp after. Ether was the medallion for it.
Galdaran deciding to do
Just
deciding
go straight for it, yeah.
Instead of doing Mire as well. Bread, that is the $1 million question. Where are the rods?
We have found 0 rods. I mean, I still think Fire Rod's just on green pendant turn-in.
Everyone wants a pedestal seed, and I just want them to go over there and check it.
I don't want a pedestal seed, I just want a green pendant seed. Pedestal seeds suck, man.
If you're running them,
especially
yeah.
if it's Fire Rod, because then you never have a chance to go check the pedestal.
Yeah. If you're running it, ped seeds suck. If you're watching it, you hope it's a ped seed every time.
Yes, if it's a ped seed, that means more rando. Which is generally why everybody roots for it.
Oop, all dungeons. It's okay. They can blame Bread later. He rolled the seed.
Yes, they can blame the Restreamer, who is doing a very good job at restreaming, keeping an eye on everything.
And boothisman is doing a great job at tracking as well.
And my co-com, Furious Prince, is doing a really good job at commentating.
Thank you. You're doing a great job carrying this as well.
That is Quake in Swamp. So now they can get in, although they can't do much there. They can get into Turtle Rock. Fun fact, both rods can now be on Laser Bridge if the key logic falls in the right place.
Pichu may have just been a little too fast doing Darediver down. Gets it on the 3rd try. Not entirely sure what they were expecting there.
Going back to check the big chest. Oh. They're going back to do left side now?
What?
I hard disagree with this.
Yeah, this is not typically seen. Galdaran going, meanwhile, right for Argus.
Yeah. You
I'm
know,
at a
I agree
loss
with
for
Chad. It's
words.
legit never faster.
I'm at a loss for words, just trying to figure out what there is going through their head right now.
Yeah.
They might have been keeping the item count with that room having both the other dungeon items, but still just not faster.
Yeah, but I mean, like Bread-kun said, you may as well just wait until after the boss at that point.
Yeah, because at least you have a crystal to show for it.
Well, that's gonna be something I ask about.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, this is gonna be a great question.
The thing is, though, if it's both rods over here, then
I missed what
the
just
choice
fell.
doesn't matter.
I missed what just fell for Galdaran on Argus.
Rupees,
Okay.
nothing important. Well, that's a
Okay.
rod.
Oh,
no!
Galdaran, no! Oh
That's-
no!
He's gonna last location the ice rod.
I don't think you're ever gonna come back for that. You might as well go to Hammerbegs before doing that.
Yeah, I agree.
I don't agree with Pichu doing it before Argus, but at least she remembered to do it.
At least it led to something.
Oh, this is gonna be a really heartbreaking loss for Galdaran if that is the decision maker.
Well, if he goes into Ice Palace and fire rods on Sahasrara, it could be like both of them last locationing each rod, but if the fire rod's anywhere along the way, that's just, yeah, that's bad. Pichu having trouble with
Yeah, I've never really set it up on the
there it
right
goes.
side. Yeah, I can agree with that statement there in chat. Galdaran really must be feeling behind after Hammer was there on Magic Bat. But
I mean, if I was either runner, I'd be feeling behind right now.
But after you found so much in Death Mountain, just taking that time to go check would not be the worst decision in the world.
Galdaran in pod right now, though. Just burning down the crystals. That was some good ice rod spam.
That was fantastic. Oh, it was bombs on Argus.
Yeah, it was nothing important.
Okay. I mean, I don't disagree with Galdaran's play of doing pod since you could just pair it with Eastern, but I still think Ice might have been the better play looking for Fire Rod, because of that whole fire leads to fire. It's gonna be interesting to see what Pichu does if she's gonna follow the same steps and go right in the pod.
I think Pichu's going with the big bomb first.
Okay. Yeah.
You know, I have to say that the way Pichu has kind of planned out this route, with the exception of how she did Swamp Palace, it's pretty efficient.
Other than the way she planned it out, it paid off. But other than the way she planned it out, it really has just been a great routing choices by her.
And Galdaran not really finding anything yet in pod. And Pichu not really getting anything out of the Fat Berry.
Just a bloomerang. Well, we all come full circle though. She gets another fairy in a bottle.
Yeah. And Pichu now also entering pod. Yeah, if you're Galdaran right now, you don't want that fire rod to be anywhere along the way. Like, honestly, you kind of just want it to be as far out of the way as possible, because you're going to last location that ice rod at this point.
In my head, I'm thinking it could be on Armos, on Lamolis. Still could be finishing up here in pod. And Ice Palace or the first check of TR.
It could actually, the key logic in TR, you can still have the fire rod can be on Laser Bridge.
Okay. Yeah, it could.
It's pretty horrible.
Yeah, this could be a really bad seed. It could also still be on pedestal and green pendant turn-in. Are we sure Bread rolled this and not Smirk?
I mean, I've been banned in a few circles from rolling seeds, so say the same thing about me. No, the every tournament has to have its like absolute garbage seed, and this is definitely one of those seeds.
This would be the third seed this week that we've just had garbage logic.
Yeah, I mean it happens. Everybody has to play that one bad seed. Sometimes
Really
they all
nice
come on
fight
the
so
same
far.
week.
Really nice fight so far by Galdaran on Helmasaur.
Yeah, pod has been completely empty though, which feels bad, man. Yeah, and nothing on either boss as crystals fall, or while a crystal and a pendant fall simultaneously.
Now the hot tag to each other to go do the other dungeon.
The old switcheroo. Yeah, it's looking like this fire rod's not in a very nice place.
Agreed, Mr. Aaron Snerd. Yeah, this is still not a bad play by Pichu at all. We know that it's not the right play, but it's not bad decision in her mind.
No, if it is on Lambolas, I'm trying to figure out at what point in time do you go back to Lambolas? Do you do it before left side swamp or after?
If you're Galdaran, I would say you go back and do it before, because it's a boss you can clear versus having to just do a part of a dungeon that you've already cleared out.
He already beat Helmasaur, so if he goes back and does that before, he's probably going to end up pulling Ped before he goes into left side swamp.
Yeah, at that point you may as well go check pedestal before you even consider it being on Lamnolas.
Dang, that puts him in a really bad spot. Because even if the Fire Rod is on Ped, and Pichu last location's on Ped, Pichu doesn't have to go back in the swamp.
No. And at least with Ice Rod, since Ice Rod could be pretty much anywhere, knowing that you can only have the Fire Rod be in a couple places is still a lot better in her mind than it is in Galdaran's mind looking for Ice Rod.
Yeah, that's true. Galdaran going for Green Pendant. With the red cane here, this is a really low risk play, because the red cane literally takes minutes off the clear of this dungeon.
Yeah, especially now that they did eventually find that hammer, it makes a lot more sense to be coming in here and doing Icebreaker than it would have before.
Yeah.
And since we have a little bit before our next check, if you want to, you can also join our GoMo Podcast Discord just by typing !Discord in the chat. You can also go and follow the GoMo Podcast Discord on all platforms that you can enjoy podcasts by typing !Podcast. And go give our runners a follow with the !R. These are just amazing performers today, and they are giving it their all in a really, really bad seed, but they're making it entertaining, which is just what we all want.
And they're also just kind of putting themselves out there.
Oh, absolutely. Them and their mentors, they would not have been able to. Oh, Silver's there in Atrium. Both of our runners are really putting themselves out there and wanting to showcase their skills that they've learned over the last couple weeks in this mentor tournament.
Yeah, and it's something to kind of remember about this, that they do have a mentor with them. All these runners are still learning. None of them are really all that experienced. So being willing to put themselves out there like this, and it can be scary the first time.
I've yet to actually have any of my races restreamed, so I can't even begin to imagine the nerves that they must be feeling. I know Galdaran's been restreamed at least once before. so far in the tournament.
All right, and Pichu also doing Helmasaur, so both of them kind of setting up potentially a pet play. I mean, fluting to the portal and going into the back of desert later isn't really that big of a deal if they have to go back and kill Amolas. Yeah, I'm surprised he didn't do Meyer first either. And what Pichu headed towards? Are they gonna do North Dark World? Probably.
They could use this to also do a ped check as well. So they've already cleared out the rest of Skull Woods. They can just follow it all the way over there. No, even though they can't get in, they can still just mirror over and do a ped check. But doing North Dark World first. Now they also have boots. They still haven't done Bonk Rocks or King's Tomb.
They also haven't checked Graveyard Ledge or Catfish. Not that there's anything in there, but
yeah,
that was Galdaran did that earlier.
Yeah, so Galdaran might take a little bit longer to go to either one of those as well. With them being light roll checks, though, I don't expect it since they can just save and quit Sanctuary either.
Yeah. Oh, right. And Galdaran picking up the green pendant, finding only silvers in Ice Palace. Although silvers can help with time a lot, considering he hasn't done Meyer. His Vitreous fight will be quite a bit faster.
Yeah, silvers makes the difference also between having to do a 5-minute Ganon fight versus a, let's say, 10-minute Ganon fight with silverless. So now the question becomes, how long until Pichu decides she needs to go to Ice Palace?
I don't know, but if Fire Rod's on Green Pendant, we're gonna see that here in a second.
We're gonna see a whole lot more checks from Galdaran trying to find that nice rod.
Yeah. Cape. All right. Well, that leads to nothing. Yeah, that puts Fire Rod in a pretty gross spot. What do we have left? Lamolas and Ped?
TR.
Oh yeah, they could still go into TR, which is worse than either of the other two things I just said. Strangely enough, there is currently in logic a check worse than going to Ped. And oh, Galdaran just going straight for it, not even doing Meyer first.
I think they've decided that I already have both 2 of the 3 pendants. If one of my rods isn't on Land Molus or it's on pedestal, I've lost.
Yeah, that's an understandable thought at this point.
This could also be from his mentor's coaching, just telling him that, hey, we can clear out every single crystal except for Skullwoods. Why not just try and go for? Well, we can't do TR, but we need Fire Rod for both of them. Why not just try and do pedestal?
Oh man, I guess Fire Rod could still be like. Yeah, it can be as far as Laser Bridge. That's gross. There are no good spots left to check for this Fire Rod at this point.
And Pichu finally decided she's going to go do Ice Palace, so she'll pick up the silvers eventually.
if oh, there's the fire rod.
Which they could have. Oh no.
Which is gonna send them on a wild goose chase for the ice rod that they just left behind.
And on top of that, they also can now go do Skull Woods and do a ped check as well.
Yep. I mean, at this point, the pet check's benign because Pichu's probably also going to take the green pendant and turn it in. But that was that book we got early. That's what it was kind of pointing toward.
Yeah, but we also didn't have a fire source until
Hype Cave.
Yeah.
Actually, I guess we had Flute Mirror and Mitts before we had a fire source, huh?
This has just been a very difficult seed for both of these runners. I have got to step away for just 1 second. I will be right back.
Man. This is a steaming pile of a seed. Yeah. Bread-kun. Pichu does not have a lot of options left. Yeah, Pichu hasn't done Spike either, but I would be doing Desert at this point before doing Spike. Yeah, no, I agree. If they're setting up for Ped, then they're gonna go from Desert Palace straight to TR. Well, no, because they'd want to do TR last, but they literally just need the Fire Rod for Go mode. And they're now getting their silvers in that last room. Yeah, you can easily save your portal that way. That is a good point. Just step on the spikes and kill yourself. Is there an item in Thieves Big? Or no, that doesn't exist. That doesn't exist. We're not. That's no. I mean, in the situation you're in, literally, Thieves Town Big is the last thing you do.
Yeah, Thief Sound Big would probably be the last check for Pichu. Galdaran, not knowing that Ice Rod is in left side swamp, it's more likely that they can go do that. Since they're already going to be heading that way over for swamp. Or sorry, for Skull Woods.
I mean, left side swamp's 2 items. Thieves Town Big is 1 item. They both suck. I mean, I imagine Galdaron's probably going to end up pulling Ped looking for the Ice Rod. Because he has to do Skullwoods anyways, it's right there. Although he does have a book, so he might just read it first.
I think the only thing that could be on there that's not Ice Rod that would be worthwhile would just be a Butter Sword. And even that's not entirely necessary at this point.
I mean, they've got half magic, red mail, 16 hearts.
Yeah.
At this point, a butter sword's just overkill. Like, here's the thing: is that like going into TR looking for the ice rod is more appealing than going back to left side swamp.
Yeah.
That's
Especially if you've forgotten that you missed it. You could be going to do, well, one, the TR big chest, or sorry, the Thieves Town big chest, but you also still have hammer pegs that I don't think either runner has gone back to do just yet.
and neither one's done hammer pegs, and I would do hammer pegs before doing either of those two garbage checks.
Yeah.
Ooh,
Oh no. Thankfully, she has a fairy in a bottle. Does she picked that up at Pyramid Fairy?
Very nice. Probably why she was so willing to be that aggressive.
Gonna go do the green pendant turn in herself.
Turn in the green pendant. You may as well, you got it, and then you go do Lamola's.
Galdaran also deciding to not use the silvers in favor of an invincibility item. Now, when Pichu did it, I understand she didn't have silvers, but I'm surprised that Galdaran did it this way instead.
Me too. It is just a little bit faster.
It was a still very clean fight from both sides.
Yeah.
Oh, Mr. Angry Pants pointing out that he only had the 7 arrows to begin the fight with, so yeah.
Yeah, that makes it a little hard when you don't have enough arrows to do it that way.
Ooh, this man also said not enough arrows. By this point in the race, most people don't even look at their arrow count.
I wouldn't have. I would have ran out of arrows and been like, well, dang.
I would have been sitting there just slashing Vitreous, making it just look so poor.
I mean, Pichu's about to get their fire rod. And Galdaron's headed straight to Ped.
Mr. Angry Pants, we actually do not know what pet is just yet. Neither runner's gonna check it. It will be junk because we are in no mode, but we just don't know what's actually on pedestal.
Yeah, best case scenario, it's a sword, and that's not even really something that we need at this point. And that is go mode for Pichu at 1:37 and 51 seconds. Alright, and Pichu headed straight toward, I mean, their last 2 crystals, and it makes sense to do this one first because you don't want to climb the mountain an extra time.
Absolutely, especially since we don't really expect Pichu to do Spike Cave. They don't know that it's red mail, but at the same time, it's not really going to make much of a difference.
No, I mean, not with that much health.
Well, with between the health and then not knowing your opponent is still looking for an item in left side swamp, we know that it's not going to make much of a difference, even if there was a failure, unless Galdaran does big brain it to left side swamp.
I mean, that would be. I would. It's the right play, but I would disagree with him going back to left side swamp. Basically, at any point in time until it's down to that and Thieves down big chest.
Agreed.
Like, that's one of those locations, if you skip it, you're not going back. And he did down Mothula.
Blindly pulling pedestal. Oh, never mind.
Some
Just pocket change.
Yep, it's junk.
Somehow still this turned into an oops all dungeons.
Well, I mean, the hammer location kind of forced that.
Yeah.
Alright, and Mothula goes down for Pichu. Now all she needs is to go to TR and kill the three-headed turtle.
Her final ascent up to Dark Death Mountain before she makes her climb after TR. Galdaran doing the hammer pegs. Already here? Do you think he goes and does the some big chest?
I don't think he does Thieves Town Big Chest. It's literally the worst thing he has left.
And I absolutely agree. Even with the late hammer, if Gald had decided to go back and do left side swamp, he could have probably made a really close comeback. But now it just seems the ball is firmly in Pichu's court.
Yeah, the hole that is left side swamp just keeps getting bigger and bigger. And, like, I guess the other thing is that, did he not mean to leave it behind and then forgot that he left it behind?
If that's the case, that also means that Koval forgot as well.
It's entirely possible.
Yeah. I know I personally don't play with a map tracker, so if I had forgotten it, I would probably not go back there at all. Just because I would have forgotten completely.
Yeah, I mean, if you're not... Oh, is he going for it? Right now?
It looks like it.
It might be the last thing he has left, actually, other than going into TR. Nope, that's the wrong direction. Oh, he's doing Big Bomb.
Oh.
Which is not going to lead to anything either.
It'll give him information about the Pyramid Fairy's bottle. In case he needs it for Ganon, which, again, I doubt, having red mail and 16 hearts. Barrylock in chat also bringing up a good point that it was that that time saver gamble that he made. And if it was just the time save, then he made he's probably just trying to commit so hard to that time save.
Yeah, I mean that's more than likely what it is. Like he probably didn't forget, and I hope he didn't forget, because then him and his mentor are both going to be sitting there going,
I definitely can't wait to ask both these runners their thought processes on some of their movements. He was so close and decided to go to TR instead.
Yeah, I mean, it's like I said, that's a check. If you don't do it, you're not going back.
Absolutely not.
The only thing you do before that is Thieves' Town Big Chest. And at this rate for Pichu, it's just a race to the finish. Yeah, he's going in TR. And I fully agree with that play.
Yeah, if you're without the knowledge, this is not the worst play. This is probably the key under the doorstep kind of mentality. There's been many seeds that we've all seen Ice Rod there on Laser Bridge, so this is not the worst thing in his mind to do.
I mean, like, vanilla location for the Ice Rod and randomizer is just TR anyways, right?
That or Hookshot Cave.
The number of times I have found a Sword and Swamp or a Ice Rod and TR is just bizarre.
I was doing a practice seed with my mentor the other day, and I have never done Master Sword Ganon until that practice seed, just to find out afterwards that both other sword upgrades were inside a Swamp Palace, which was a pendant.
Sword and Swamp.
Yeah.
I'm just glad it wasn't a pet seed.
Yeah. Came really, really close to it, though.
Yeah, I was real close to it. That is 7 crystals for Pichu, which means everybody needs to start guessing numbers between 1 and 22.
Yeah, for those of you who are new here and don't know what he's talking about, there are 22 checks in the basement of Ganon's Tower that can hold the big key before heading up to the top. And so what we like to do is to go and place a number in chat about where we think the big key is going to be, and that, again, can be 1 through 22. So where do you think it'll be, Blackwax?
I'm going to guess the torch.
Okay.
So, like, 1.
I personally always go with 13. I'm a left side a left sider when it comes to Ganon's Tower, so that puts it typically in Ice Harmos room.
Okay, that's fair. I just think the nicest thing the game could do at this point is just give you the big key.
Well, they'd still have to go find. They'd still have to go grab a small key at that point.
Yeah, but there's a key in the pot right here.
Yeah.
Bam, key. All right, well, I lose.
I see Silver saying 22 there in chat. If it's in 22, I think that you may as well just forfeit.
I mean, if it's in 22 at this point, then the game just hates everyone.
So there's 5.
Six, 7.
Oh, well, we know where Mirror Shield is.
Yep. Okay, this is 8, 9, 10, 11.
The way it's looking, key might be vanilla.
Yeah.
Cape was on green pendant turn-in. The answer to John Snoo's question.
I hate that, stopping a pixel right before a chest and just standing there dashing. Some fancy boomerang strats from Pichu.
Yeah, I don't think I've seen that one before.
I think that's how it's done in the speed runs. Is that 11?
12.
12. Okay.
$15 checks in, still no big key.
It might be 22. Oh, and Pichu misses the bonk over the portal.
When I first started playing Rando, I used to be able to get that, and now I just, for some reason, don't understand how to do it anymore.
It's a pixel perfect movement. Like, it's understandable that people mess it up.
$16.
Vanilla. And nobody wins because nobody got 17.
That one would have been 18?
18? Yeah, I
No,
think you're
but-
right.
because there was only the 2 checks and
Well, random room was 15, then that chest was 16, so then yeah, that one right there was 17. This seed really hates us. Or hates these runners, I should say. And yeah, Jon Snoot, the ice rod was in left side swamp that Pichu, for some reason, backtracked after doing a good diver down in the back of swamp, came to left side, found the ice rod, and then did Argus. Where Galdaran did the back and did Argus, and then just straight up left Swamp Palace.
I don't understand what Pichu was doing in the swamp, but it worked. So.
Yeah, it's definitely still going to be a question we're going to ask.
And we get to see what's in the Thieves' Town big chest. Galdaran gets the bad news. And Galdaran only on their way back to left side swamp.
Unfortunately, it's just a little too late.
With Pichu climbing GT with silvers and a tempered sword, it's almost a race to see if Pichu can kill Ganon before Galdaran hits go mode. Ooh, and Pichu leaving behind that full magic decanter.
I believe that she still has a green potion in her inventory.
Oh yeah, did she get one from the fairy?
I know that she got one when
The
she picked
waterfall
up the
fairy.
bottle.
So she might have 2 then. I mean, not that it matters at this point, because even if she didn't find magic or pick up that big magic, then there's one in this room right here.
Also finding that blue potion in the bottom of Ganon's tower as well.
Oh yeah, I did find the blue potion too.
Oh, I think she just snuck away with that hit.
That must have been a nerve-wracking Moldorm fight. She was literally just stuck in the corner the whole time.
Wonder how many times she practiced that to make sure that she knew how to not to fall off there. John, your question is just a mystery to us as well about why we didn't full clear swamp, because it was a very interesting swamp palace for both these runners.
Here comes Bacon. Right as he finds his go mode item.
Absolutely heartbreaking. An hour and 58 minutes to find the ice rod. This was not a friendly seed. A 2-hour seed for these runners, and I don't think they could have made it any better.
I mean, yeah, especially Pichu, the decisions that were made in order to clean up things that they skipped was just impressive.
Especially when they started off feeling so behind. She did start off like 2 or 3 screens behind Galdaran at one point, and they just played catch up on each other for a while.
I mean, it doesn't matter, but because she has silvers, but let's see if she can get the torch glitch. Nope. Oh, yep. Just in the nick of time. And that is 4 arrows in the big pig. Everybody get your GGs in chat.
That was a fantastic Ganon fight by Pichu.
It was pretty solid, yeah. And Pichu10u finishes in first place with a time of 2 hours and 36 seconds.
GG's.
And Galdaran has forfeit at 2:01:01.
Yeah, I think they just realized they were just a little too far behind to make it an even, at least 15-minute race there.
All right, and we're gonna see if we can get them in here for interviews. All right, so we're gonna have Pichu in here, but Galdaran has to go.
Okay.
Bread-kun is working on getting Pichu in here. I'd like to give a shout out to Bread-kun for restreaming this. We're a little bit short on restreamers right now. And our tracker, boothisman.
Yeah, both of them did an amazing job to make sure that this race got put together.
All right, and we are joined with Pichu10u. Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you.
GG's.
Yeah. Where was my opponent when he forfeit?
He was on his way up to Turtle Rock at the time that he forfeited.
He last looked the ice one, right?
Yeah.
Oh.
We were actually going to ask you, we were so confused when you dropped down from your diver down in the back swamp to go check the left side. Can you just explain to us what was going through your head?
I found the map and compass in that room, so I thought, oh yeah, there's 2 items in the left side swamp, so let's go there. My mentor asked me the exact same question as you asked, and I was like, oh, I just thought of it, like, I'm gonna do it right now. I'm there, and yeah.
Okay, well, it paid off for you in a big way there.
Like, either way, even though I did Argus, I will go back for the left side swamp. At this point. Like, if I didn't do left side swamp, I will go back in swamp and do it.
Yeah, well, that's what confused us, because most people just do Argus first. But, I mean, it worked out either way, so...
The thing that stressed me out the most was Tifton Big Chest, because there wasn't time in it. Like, I skipped it because I didn't have the hammer, and I found the hammer right after, and I'm like, oh my god.
You actually found the hammer a good little bit before your opponent. That was a very bad location for the hammer to find. But knowing that it just led to everything from a dry start of the seed, that was a good play on your part.
Yeah. I did a seed this week where the armor was at the exact same place, like on Magic Bat, so I thought of doing it.
Yeah, the way that was all routed out, the way that you chose to skip certain things and then you were able to go back and clean up multiple checks at a time was really, really impressive. And I was just curious, was that your routing or was that your mentor's routing?
It was a bit of both. Like, I thought I'm gonna do this, and so, oh yeah, you can do that, or you can do other things. And yeah, like, it was a addition from both me and my mentor.
Okay.
Pretty early on, we had discussed about how the book was being on Race Game, and then when we found out about Fire Rod being on Landmo, we had noticed that there was still an item. Did you guys ever consider going back there early on after you found the lamp to go do it?
No. No, we didn't think of it. Because there was like a lot of things open, and doing a pendant was not... Like, we didn't want to do a pendant first.
Yeah, that's true. There were the lamp being a fire source kind of opened up quite a bit, also being a light source.
Like, it opened... Oh, Era, it opens, like, a bunch of things.
Yeah. The lamp opens up... Logically, the lamp opens up, like, I think, 18% of the map. So what were your thoughts on that seed?
It was something. Like, I was stressed because of the Tifton Big Chest, but it was a great seed, I think. And yeah. Like, a lot of full clear from my part.
We gotta be honest, we were over here trying to put the worst possible places for the fire rod, because when we just could not figure out where else it was, we were trying to finally say, oh, it's gonna be on Green Pendant Turn-In. Oh, it's gonna be on Pedestal. So we were kind of wishing you guys to have a really more difficult seed than you probably wanted.
The worst place for me for the fire rod would have been Tifton Big Chest, because I thought that maybe my opponent had the armor before Tifton. But yeah, like, it wasn't in a good place either.
Yeah, no, I mean, like, the hammer location, having to have to mirror into Magic Bat to get the hammer, there's a lot of people are just gonna last location that.
And then taking that up to Death Mountain, using the Turtle Rock portal to find your hook shot, your boots, and your bow was probably not the easiest routing decision to make.
Yeah, literally leaving the mountain, finding the hammer, and then going directly back to the mountain. It can be a frustrating thing to do, but it was the right choice to make, and that was a good routing decision.
Yeah, my mentor said, go do ice, and I'm like, no, I'm gonna stay there. And my mentor was like, oh no, it's a pendant. Go do the mountain, it's fine. Yeah, he thought it was a crystal.
I was actually going to ask you, when you found those silvers, how comfortable are you doing with Silverless Cannon?
With Tempered, I'm fine. Master, it's a bit more difficult, but okay. But I was happy to find the silvers. It's faster.
Okay. Yeah, your opponent had actually done ice just a little bit before you. So when we saw the silvers were in there and we saw you heading over there, it's like, oh yeah, she's gonna find silvers. She's gonna have a very comfortable lead.
Yeah. But it was an interesting seed, actually. Like, for the gloves being in Eastern without the bow. Like, we didn't want to do it, like, early on. But between that and the mountain, let's go do Eastern.
Yeah, you guys had a
For
lot of the fetch quest items really early on in the seed.
Yeah, you had in the first 5 minutes you had mushroom, book, and magic powder, and then oh yeah, and a bottle. And those
yeah.
are all fetch quest items, and it was like just like right out the gate, the game was just like, here, take these things and go find stuff.
When I found the magic powder, I was like, oh, no fake powder today, it's fine. I can tune into mushroom without worrying there's something on magic bath.
Yeah, that was another interesting early decision play that I was surprised to see. The save and quit after finding the powder, and after the drop down in the magic forest to go do the mushroom turn in with the fake flipper. Um, you were rewarded with it with the red meringue, but it was an interesting decision instead of following it down through Kakariko.
That was my mentor. This told me that do fake flippers to mushroom.
All
That
right.
was his decision, so I did it, and yeah.
Yeah, I figured that was probably your mentor because that's not something a lot of people that are inexperienced know how to know that is like a faster thing to do. And then also, I would also assume the way that you went through Kakariko from the south was probably also some direction from your mentor, because
And
that's
not really, like, I didn't have any bombs, so either way, I will be alone, I will come back from the south. Because I didn't have bombs, but yeah, like, he also told me to do it from the south.
All right. Well, that was an amazing seed to watch. So congratulations again.
Thank you.
all right. You got any more questions, Furious?
I am fine if you are.
I'm good. Once again, GG's,
Thank you.
and I think that's gonna conclude this broadcast. Thanks everybody for watching. Make sure you give both Pichu10u and Galdaran a follow. They did a really good job and they really put themselves out there today.
As well as both their mentors. Their mentors did a lot to go and help both these runners get ready for this race this week.
Yeah, being a mentor can it's a commitment. So also don't forget to give them a follow. All right, and that's gonna do it. Have a good night, everyone.